The Amazing Spider-Man, issue number 18. The end of Spider-Man. A short time ago, Spider-Man seemed to suffer his greatest defeat at the hands of the mysterious Green Goblin. And now, let us observe the reactions of various familiar characters to that unexpected occurrence.
I'm the first one to make Spider-Man run away like a whipped dog. Now at last, the Green Goblin will be world famous.
If only I could have been the one to defeat him. The victory should have belonged to Dr. Octopus.
Even though he lost, Spider-Man is still at large. That means Kraven the Hunter might still be able to track him down.
How could the Green Goblin beat him when I, the Vulture, couldn't? I still can't believe it.
What are you looking so gloomy about, Hothead? I thought that Webhead was #1 on your hate parade.
Sure, Ben, we were always feuding, but I still had a lot of respect for Spidey, if I hadn't seen him run away with my own eyes.
Too bad about Spider-Man. It sort of puts all costumed crime fighters in a bad light.
It appears his courage did not match his power.
Wasps and spiders are natural enemies, so I can't honestly say I'm sorry for him.
When I last met Spider-Man, my instincts told me he was a valiant fighter. How could the super sharp senses of Daredevil have been so wrong?
Even with the average man in the street, Spider-Man's battle against the Green Goblin is the #1 topic.
I still don't see why he ran away. It looked to me like Spidey was winning.
J. Jonah Jameson was right all the time. Spider-Man was just a coward, like all bullies.
Apparently Jameson was smarter than we thought.
It is a gloating publisher of the Daily Bugle, and this is no tricks in publicizing his triumph.
Now that the decent people of our city have gotten wise to Spider-Man, he hasn't been seen for weeks. At last we're rid of that masked menace. And remember, the Daily Bugle was the first to expose him as a dangerous fraud.
Yes, almost the entire civilized world wonders what has happened to the Amazing Spider-Man. But how surprised they all would be if they could see him at this very moment.
You shouldn't have gotten out of bed, Aunt May. The doctor said you need lots of rest after your operation.
But I wanted to make sure you eat a good breakfast before you go to school, Peter.
Gosh, if only you'd stop worrying about me so. Anyway, you know, Mrs. Watkins will be here to help you out, and oh, here she is now.
Off to school with you now, Peter. I'll do the dishes. Well, don't you look improved, May?
Thank you, Anna. It's so nice of you to come over.
Now remember, take your medicine every 4 hours, have a nap at noon, like the doctor said, and don't tire yourself out.
I'll be all right, dear. Now take care of yourself. Remember, you're still a growing boy.
Later at school.
I can't tell Aunt May, but we're almost out of money, and she still needs so much medicine. I can't fail her after everything she's done for me. The doctor doesn't want her to know how ill that she really is.
Then, at the end of school day,
I never saw Puny Parker run so fast.
He probably heard of a big sale on textbooks somewhere.
I've got to make sure Aunt May's all right. I'm home, Aunt May. Are you feeling all right? Oh, you're still here, Mrs. Watkins?
Yes, Peter. Your aunt felt a bit dizzy, so I thought I'd stay a while longer.
Now, don't worry the boy, Anna. I'm perfectly fine, but you look a bit peaked to me, dear. Have you been studying too hard?
Later, after Mrs. Watkins has gone out.
We're almost out of medicine again. I've just got to get some money somewhere. Okay, Aunt May, time for your medicine, and then you've got to go to bed.
Very well, Peter. I am feeling rather tired. You may shut the TV off now.
Yes, that's why Spider-Man hasn't been heard from lately. It's impossible to look after a sick aunt who is recovering from a serious operation and still spend time swinging through the city in search of adventure. But there are still some who haven't forgotten Spidey.
Boy, old J. Jonah really is flying these days.
And probably the last true fan that Spidey has left is Flash Thompson, the arch rival of Peter Parker.
I tell ya, if Spidey ran away from the Green Goblin, he had a good reason. Sure he did. He's a professional coward. Say that again and I'll paste you one. Nip it, Flash. That webhead isn't worth fighting about. Just watch what you say about him from now on.
Oh, hello, Peter. How was your aunt?
A little better, I guess, Liz. Boy, Flash sure is loyal to Spider-Man, isn't he?
Yes, he seems to like him as much as he dislikes you. By the way, there's a new Peter Sellers movie at the drive-in tonight that I've been dying to see.
Really? I'd like to see it too, but I have something to do later on. Liz really isn't a bad kid, although I prefer Betty Brant, but I can't think about girls now. I've got an idea how to earn some money fast.
And so, after school, a dramatic costumed figure swings daringly towards a town office building.
This is the place. Are you the ones who make those kids trading cards with pictures of sports stars and actors on them? Yeah, who wants to know? Oh, Spider-Man. This is your big chance, fella. How much is it worth to you to make trading cards with my picture on them? I'll give you an exclusive contract. Sorry, we're not interested. Don't slam the window on your way out. Are you kidding? You're talking to Spider-Man. I'm the real thing. Just think of the photos you could get of me. Leave your name and address with the girl out front. Don't call us. We'll call you. But just imagine how the kids would eat up a picture of me doing this. Or how about something like this? You'd sell 1 million cards easy. I don't get it. You're not even looking. What's wrong? Look, young fella. Face it. You're washed up. A has-been. I couldn't give any pictures of you away. Now blow, huh? I'm busy.
Bitterly disappointed, the masked teenager leaves the office in his own inimitable manner and sees, a short distance away,
a gang on the roof of that jewelry store. It's a cinch they're not there to see the sights. I'll break up that little caper easy as pie and then... Oh no, I can't. I forgot. If anything happened to me, who would look after poor Aunt May? I just can't afford to take that chance.
And then Spider-Man does a most unusual thing. He turns and runs away from the furtive would-be jewel thieves.
This may not be in the best superhero tradition, but I haven't any choice. Anyway, I'm glad I have some change with me.
Seconds later.
Hello? Police? I'd like to report a crime. Some men are trying to break into a jewelry store at the corner of 47th Street. No, I'd rather not mention my name. I'm just a private citizen trying to do his duty. That's okay. You're welcome. Well, it's not the way the Human Torch would have handled it, but at least I'll be able to get right home and see if Aunt May needs me now.
Minutes later.
Doc, what are you doing here? Is anything wrong? Where's Aunt May? It's all right, Peter. I was just passing by, so I thought I'd drop in. Your aunt seems to be holding her own, but you'd better try to take it easy, son. Just see that she keeps taking her medicine, and I'll come by again tomorrow. I can't tell him that I'm so jittery because I'm worried about paying for all that medicine. Our savings bank account is almost empty.
I'm glad you're home early, dear. How was school today?
Everything's fine at school, Aunt May. Here, I'll put on the TV for you.
Thank you, dear. Now you'd better do your homework before it gets too late.
She doesn't suspect that I'm miles ahead of the class already.
And then, reaching the privacy of his room.
I've got to find out if Betty is still mad at me for going to that club without meeting her. Hi, Betty. This is Pete. Wait, don't hang up. Betty!
The nerve of him, calling me as though nothing had happened.
Was that Peter Parker? I feel so good these days I even like him. Where's he been keeping himself lately?
His aunt is ill. She had a serious operation, and he's had to look after her.
Really? Well, never let it be said that big-hearted J. Jonah Jameson doesn't look after the people who work for him. Let's do something generous for them. Send her a get-well card. But don't seal the envelope. You can send it for a penny cheaper that way. Say, you're not still mad at Parker, are you? You should learn to forgive and forget, like I do.
Since Spider-Man's defeat, old Jameson has been the happiest guy in town.
The old hypocrite. I liked him better the way he was. How are you, my loyal employees? Remember, if you need any advice or any help, you're always welcome to ask your tender-hearted employer.
Wish he'd become his grouchy old self again. At least we understood him that way.
First time I ever saw him smile. It's a sickening sight.
I almost wish Spider-Man would redeem himself or something. Otherwise, Jameson's liable to crack his face wide open with that phony smile of his.
He reminds me of a tiger who's just made a kill.
And as the long hours tick by,
She's resting now. Poor Aunt May. She's done so much for me. Brought me up like I was her own son. I can't fail her now when she needs me. I've got to take care of her till she's well again. But it gets so lonely sometimes. If only Betty weren't mad at me. I'll call her again. No answer. Can she be out with another fella? Or is she not answering because she suspects it's me?
although we cannot be sure of it, Peter's second guess is the correct one.
It must be Pete. I know it, but I don't trust myself to speak to him. I might listen to my heart and make up with him as I'm longing to, but I mustn't. I simply couldn't bear to be hurt again.
Then, as the dejected teenager sits morosely in his lonely room, his thoughts begin to wander back to the recent past.
I wonder how Betty would feel if she knew I was Spider-Man. I'm the one who's risked his life so often to save her. It wasn't long ago that I defied some of my most dangerous enemies in order to rescue Betty and Aunt May. I remember how the Sandman almost beat me. He might have, if I hadn't been able to hold my breath longer than he. I can outlast him in this airless room because of my extra strong lungs. Then, there was the time Craven the Hunter had me trapped. If I hadn't been able to outrun him, there's no telling what might have happened. He sure was a powerful enemy. Spider-Man, if I ever get my hands on you. And I still shudder when I think how close the Vulture came to beating me. If he hadn't made the careless mistake of flying too close to me when I was trapped, it would have been bye-bye Spidey. Of course, one of my closest calls came when Dr. Octopus had me trapped in that gigantic glass fishbowl. All he had to do was leave me to drown, but he made the mistake of being overeager and coming in after me. It's a slim chance, but if I could snare him with my webbing.
Editor's note: all the scenes above you witnessed are excerpts from the first Spidey annual.
Every one of them, as well as Electro and Mysterio, will have learned from that experience, and they'll be harder to beat if we should ever meet again. But nobody realizes what close calls I've had, how dangerous my career has been. Uh-oh, what's this on TV?
And now, our last news item. J. Jonah Jameson, famous newspaper publisher, has been awarded the Good Citizenship Medal for his continuing editorials against the discredited Spider-Man.
That does it! Betty Brant is mad at Peter Parker, and the whole world thinks Spider-Man is a coward because I ran out on my fight with the Goblin. They don't know I did it because Aunt May was ill and needed me, and I can never explain.
The next day, outside of the Daily Bugle building.
If only I can make up with Betty. Oh, there she is now. Betty, wait, I've got to talk to you.
Peter, it's too late. We've nothing more to discuss. You knew I wanted to go to that club meeting with you, and you told me that you weren't going. Then I found you there with Liz Allen. Nothing you say can change that.
But, Betty, wait. Please. How can I tell her I couldn't take her because I had to change to Spider-Man, and I didn't go with Liz. I just met her there.
Well, well, hello there, Parker. Have you any good news photos for me? You haven't sold me any lately.
Sorry, Mr. Jameson. I've been too busy looking after my aunt, but maybe later on.
Sure, kid, sure, anytime. Just don't bring me near Spider-Man anymore. He's finished with the public now.
Yeah, haha, you old goat. By the way, thanks for the get well card you sent Aunt May. She appreciated it.
Think nothing of it, my boy. I guess I'm just all heart.
Why did I have to fall for Peter Parker? Why do I still feel the way I do?
And then, about school.
It's a good thing that I'm a top student. I can't concentrate on my studies. I've got to find a way to earn some money.
And later that day.
Why didn't I think of this before? I ought to be able to sell my special quick-stick webbing for a fortune. It's Spider-Man. Don't be alarmed, gents. I have a business deal to offer you. You must have heard about my famous exclusive webbing. Look, I'll give you a demonstration.
This is most irregular, but we seem to be a captive audience.
Watch how I can make one thin strand stick to the ceiling. And now notice the unbelievably heavy weight that one strand will support.
He's lifting that cast iron block as though it's a toy.
How about it, men? Imagine if you could sell paste that was this strong.
I could hardly believe my eyes.
He's right, such a paste would make us a fortune on the open market.
But a few minutes later...
What happened? Oh, don't worry about this. It just snapped. I made it so it won't hold too long. I didn't want my enemies to stay tied up forever.
But if it isn't permanent, we can't use it.
Wait, perhaps I can make it permanent. I ought to be able to figure out a formula.
Fine, when you do, come back to see us. Until then, your paste is worthless.
We can't sell an adhesive that gets weak after a while. You just wasted our time.
Nuts! I struck out again. I forgot that my sticky webbing eventually evaporates. I could make it permanent, but it might take months of lab work, and I haven't the time. Anyway, at least things can't get any worse. Nope. I was even wrong there.
Well, looks like this is my lucky day.
The Sandman.
I've been waiting for a chance to polish you off once and for all.
I don't dare battle him now. I'm not worried for myself, but if I lose, Aunt May will be alone in the world with no one to look after her. Hold it. This isn't the time or the place.
So, it's true what they're saying about you. You have turned yellow.
You fought me before. You must know that it isn't true. I've just got my reasons for not wanting to mix it up with you right now.
Sure you do, and they all add up to one thing. You're a coward.
Brother, I'm in for it now. Nothing's gonna stop him from attacking me. I'd love to turn and face him, to ram those insulting words right down his throat, but nothing is ever certain. He might beat me, and I can't take the chance, not while Aunt May is ill and helpless. I owe it to her to avoid any trouble.
Look, there's Spider-Man at last.
And he's running away from Sandman, just the way he ran away from the Green Goblin.
Jameson was right. You're scared, Spider-Man. You're afraid of your shadow.
I never was the best-loved guy in town, but right now, Khrushchev could probably beat me in a popularity contest.
Go ahead, run. Show the whole world what a coward you are.
Boo, Spider-Man. I'll bet my kid sister could beat you up.
All of Spider-Man's victories in the past must have just been publicity stunts.
He was probably a phony from the start.
It's a lucky thing I'm faster than Sandman. I couldn't keep dodging those sledgehammer blows forever.
Run, chicken, I'll catch up with you sooner or later. And when I do... Oh, what a lovely sight. Oh, what a heartwarming episode. Did you see Spider-Man revealed in all his delicious cowardice?
You sure called the turn on him in your editorials, Mr. Jameson.
I'll betcha he wouldn't have the nerve to show himself in public after this. That crumb bum's had it.
Looks like he gave me the slip, and I better go into hiding too before the police come after me.
Phew, that was a close call. I'd better change identities fast before I get into a fix that I can't get out of. Boy, I'll bet even Flash Thompson will give up on me after this, and I wouldn't blame him.
Hey, punk, did you see that spineless Spider-Man run past here?
No, I didn't. He must have gone in the other direction.
Finally, the soda-faced teenager reaches home.
How come you're alone, Aunt May? The doctor said you should always have someone with you.
But Mrs. Watkins had to leave, dear. Her niece is away and she had to cook dinner for her husband. Besides, I thought you'd be home sooner.
This is what I've been afraid of. I can't take the chance of Aunt May being alone, in case she has another attack. This is why I can't afford to fight as Spider-Man. Gosh, we're almost out of medicine.
It's a shame that Mrs. Watkins' niece is out of town, dear. She could come and visit us. It must be so boring for you, spending so much time with me.
Boredom. I wish that was the only problem I had.
And so it goes. With each passing minute, things look gloomier and gloomier for the worried teenager. And the now jovial J. Jonah Jameson doesn't miss a trick in reminding the public of how right he was about Spider-Man.
And now we present a videotape rerun of this afternoon's top news story, the frightened flight of Spider-Man while the city watched in shock.
Now the whole city, probably the whole world, thinks I'm nothing but a discredited coward. And as long as Aunt May remains seriously ill, there's nothing I can do about it.
As a special attraction, let's watch that same scene in slow motion, sponsored by the Daily Bugle, the paper that tells the truth.
That's it. I can't take any more of that grinning ape. I'd rather watch Dr. Doom reading nursery rhymes to the kiddies. I tell you, Benjamin, there's more to all this than meets the eye. I just know Spidey isn't a coward.
Sure, and you still hang up your woolly little stocking for Santa Claus, too.
Knock it off, big buddy. I'm serious. Why would a fella who's risked his life a dozen times against the toughest odds suddenly turn yellow? Remember, I've seen him in action, and he's one of the best.
I'm inclined to agree with you, Johnny. People don't change their basic nature without a good cause. As for Spider-Man, I wonder.
And then, acting on a sudden impulse, the youngest member of the fabulous Fantastic Four utters a dramatic cry and blazes through the window like a crimson meteor.
Flame on!
What do you think that impetuous kid brother of mine is up to now?
It's hard to say, Sue. I'd guess he's going to try to find the reason for Spider-Man's strange behavior. Teenagers, who can figure him out?
Minutes later, a blazing message appears in the sky above the city. Spider-Man, meet me at our lost meeting place.
A message from the Human Torch, but I can't go. I don't dare leave Aunt May alone again.
Later, atop the Statue of Liberty.
This is the spot. Spidey is sure to see my flaming message sooner or later.
All through the night, the Human Torch keeps his lonely vigil until dawn begins to break.
If he didn't come by now, he's just not coming. But why? Even if he didn't see my message, he must have heard about it. It was sure to be mentioned in the papers or on radio and TV. Why didn't he come? Has something really changed him?
And at school, Spidey's most die-hard fan is having a tough time with it.
Flash, I can't believe it. Even you can't still be a fan of Spider-Man.
You're darn right I still am. I say he's got a reason for the way he's acting. He'll surprise you all pretty soon.
I'd never have believed it. He's still a Spidey booster.
Just you wait, all of you. You'll be whistling a different tune when the old web spinner proves to what a great guy he is.
Pete, you're the smartest boy in school. Do you believe Flash might be right?
You can never tell, Liz. He might be.
Later that night.
Liz, what brings you here? What's wrong?
Oh, Pete, I'm so worried. It's that foolish Flash. I'm afraid she'll be hurt. In order to prove Spider-Man is still a hero, he plans to dress in a Spider-Man costume and walk through the streets. He feels Spider-Man will rescue him if he gets into trouble.
That nut! Spider-Man has enemies all over the place.
It's my fault. I kept teasing him about Spider-Man. I never thought you'd do anything so foolhardy.
Maybe I can find him and talk him out of it, but I can't leave my aunt alone. Will you stay with her, Liz?
Of course, Petey.
And so...
I hope my spider sense can detect that well-meaning knucklehead before one of my arch foes sees him and thinks he's me.
Meanwhile...
So, they all think that Spidey is washed up, eh? I'll prove he's as brave as ever. I might even be able to prevent a crime somewhere, and old Spidey'll get credit for it. Wouldn't that be something?
And sure enough, a short time later...
Hey look, it's Spider-Man. How'd he find us?
Car thieves. They think I'm the real Spidey. This is my big chance. Okay, turn around and march to the police station if you don't want me to drag you there. If I can pull off this bluff, it'll be the greatest stunt of my life.
What'll we do, Rocky? The cops will throw the book at us.
We're 3-1. What can we lose? Let's rush 'em. Uh-oh, I didn't expect this. Now I'm in for it. But so what? They've no superpowers. Maybe I can still outfight 'em.
Hey, what gives? He hit me and I'm still conscious.
Look at this. One ordinary punch knocked the wind out of him. No wonder Spider-Man's been turning chicken lately. He must have lost all his power somehow.
What a break for us. We'll be famous as the guys who beat Spider-Man.
Hey, stop. No fair. One at a time, fellas. One at a time. I never thought it'd be so easy. Maybe we ought to tackle Daredevil next. 3 against 1. Big deal. I bet I could lick any of you single-handed.
You know something? You don't even sound like Spider-Man. I wonder if...
He must be the real McCoy. Nobody would be nutty enough to impersonate a guy like him.
And at a moment,
I can sense him now, right around the corner, having a fight. And losing. The poor guy. I'd better not even stop to change. Every second may count.
but for once, the youthful web spinner has a stroke of good luck.
Look, Irv, a street fight up ahead.
3 against 1. How cowardly can they be? Let's break it up. Well, Rocky Roberts and his 2 little car-stealing partners. We've been looking for you boys.
Say, Irv, look who they were fighting. It's Spider-Man. Or is it? He looks kinda pooped out to me.
Did it work? Did Spidey come and save me? What happened? Where are the 3 car thieves?
It's Flash Thompson. I've seen you play in the school football team. I don't know what you're doing in that monkey suit, son, but from now on, I'd advise you to leave crime fighting to the law.
I wanted to prove that the real Spidey isn't a coward. I thought he'd show up and help me. You're a brave kid, Flash, but you're way out of your league. Come on, we'll drive you home.
That was a close one. I just realized what a chance I took. If anyone had seen me running up on that wall as Peter Parker, my secret would have been out.
And the next day at school,
I'd better have a talk with Flash. Maybe I can convince him how dangerous it is to impersonate Spider-Man. Say, Flash, got a few minutes?
Oh, it's you, huh? Well, go ahead, puny Parker, gloat. Tell me I made a fool of myself. Tell me you think Spider-Man is a big zero, too. You would.
Hey, cool off. That's not what I wanted to say. Boy, what a beaut of a shiner.
Stay out of my way, Parker. I don't need any sympathy from a nobody like you. I almost beat those 3 crooks single-handed, and maybe I would've if the police hadn't shown up.
That's not the way I heard it, chum. What a guy. He won't let me be nice to him even if I try.
Better stay away from Flash for a while, Petey. He's sensitive about what happened. He's even mad at me because I told you about it.
Don't worry about me, Liz. Staying away from Flash is the easiest thing I can do. I've had a lot of practice. Things are getting worse. Aunt May will need more medicine by tomorrow and I'm still broke. Nobody but Flash has any use for Spider-Man anymore. And to top it off, Betty Brant won't give me a tumble. Where do I go from here?
Are you the wise guy who said that even puny Parker could lick Spider-Man? Well, are you?
No, Flash, I never said it, honest. Poor Flash, he hasn't been right about anything in years. How I'd like to tell him that, hey, there's Betty, with another boy. Look how she's holding his arm, and how happy they seem. You like the movie, Betty?
Oh, yes. I just couldn't stop laughing.
It's still early. How about a soda before I take you home?
That's the best offer I've had in weeks, kind sir.
Face it, boy, you've lost her. How did this all happen? Everything seems to be tumbling down around my ears. All my problems, all my tough breaks are due to being Spider-Man. If I were just an ordinary Joe, Betty would still be my girl, and all the other worries I've got would just melt away.
Finally, the unhappy youth reaches Hove.
You're looking better, Aunt May. How do you feel?
I feel better, dear. I think I must be getting stronger.
My mind's made up. When Aunt May recovers, I'll be the kind of guy that she wants me to be. I'll forget about all this Spider-Man jazz. I'll concentrate on my schoolwork, get a good job, perhaps in a lab somewhere, and settle down like everyone else. I should have done this long ago, but I was too conceited. I enjoyed being Spider-Man. It made me feel like something special. What a laugh that turned out to be. Goodbye, Spidey. I have a hunch nobody's gonna miss you.
The next morning,
her wheelchair's empty. Aunt May, where are you?
Right here, Peter. I thought I'd test my legs today.
But you shouldn't. The doctor said you were to take it easy all month.
Nonsense. I know when I'm feeling better. You don't want to make an invalid of me, do you?
Of course not, but...
No buts about it. Now you listen to me, Peter Parker.
Sure, Aunt May. What is it?
Even though I'm an old woman, I'm not a quitter. A person needs gumption, the will to live. To fight. You mustn't worry about me so much, Peter, dear. We Parkers are tougher than people think.
I heard that, young lady, and I couldn't agree more. You certainly sound chipper today.
I'm feeling much better, Doctor. I feel like a spry young 60-year-old.
And I've good news for you. You won't have to take any more medicine from now on. That's wonderful. We just used up the last of it.
And then, after the doctor has examined Peter's aunt again.
Is she really getting better, Doc? Let me have it straight. She certainly is, Peter. She's doing fine for a woman her age. Your aunt has a lot of spirit, son. You should be very proud of her.
And so,
You needn't stay with me tonight, Peter. I'll be all right alone. I want to get used to looking after myself again.
Gee, I'm sure glad to hear you sounding so chipper at last, Aunt May.
then, returning to his room with a lighter heart than he's had in days, Peter sees
Another story about Spider-Man and J. Jonah Jameson's scandal sheet? Now he's calling me the biggest phony since the Cardiff Giant. Well, maybe he's right. Maybe it took Aunt May to teach me something that I should have known. Only a weakling quits when the going gets tough. Sure, I've had my share of bad breaks, who hasn't? But I've been wasting too much time in self-pity. Well, I'm done with that from now on. Now there's nothing to stop me from being Spider-Man again. Aunt May has enough gumption for both of us. I won't have to worry about her anymore. As for J. Jonah Jameson, before I'm through, he'll be eating his words about me. Fate gave me some terrific superpowers, and I realize now that it's my duty to use them, without doubt, without hesitation. And that means Spider-Man is going into action again. I'll fight as I've never fought before. Nothing will stop me now. For I know at last that a man can't change his destiny, and I was born to be Spider-Man.
We told you this tale would be different, didn't we? So far as we know, it's the first time in history that an adventure hero had no actual fight with any foe. But now the respite is over. Next issue will feature Spider-Man fighting as only he can. So get those webs untangled and be with us when Spidey shows the whole wide world what he's really made of. The end for now.
Well, guys, that was the Amazing Spider-Man issue number 18. We've seen stuff get even worse for Peter all throughout the issue, even up to the very end pretty much, but finally he regained his hope and has retaken his mantle as Spider-Man. And he's learned that he will just have to fight through the struggles and the down periods, so that's pretty cool and a nice lesson that can be learned within this comic. It seems Betty has fully gone on with another guy, unfortunately for Peter. But nonetheless, guys, if you guys enjoyed this series and wish to see it continue, then be sure to smash that like button, subscribe for more, and I'll catch you guys next time. Peace out.